Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the Outback Al.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And we're back here again. It's January. We don't have a specific month right now that we're going through. We did a lot of those recently, so it's a little weird for me to just be like, hey, it's just a normal day. But you know who's not having a normal day? Anyone in this movie we watched, Paprika, the final Satoshi Kon movie. So at this point, we've seen basically all of his major works.
Yep.
How are we feeling? Coming to a close here.
Ironic, this is his last film because this was the first of his work that I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was mine too.
I forget which of his I saw first.
I think mine was Perfect Bloom.
Okay. So this was a trip.
Yep.
It's like trying to find the right words.
That.
How can you sum up Paprika in one word? 2 words. One word in an article. A trip. So do we want to try plot here, or do we just want to like try to it gets a little crazy at a certain point.
Yeah.
Best I can tell, there's some scientists working on a therapy machine that allows you to record your dreams and have other people enter them to kind of sort through anxieties, traumas, stuff like that. We see a detective going through that a little bit. He's reliving the same anxiety dream over and over and over again, and there's a girl named Paprika helping him out with that. She's not real, but she is. We'll get to that. Problem is, someone stole some of the devices that allow you to enter the dreams and whatnot. And apparently, the more you use the device, and the more information the device gets on your dreams and that, it can begin to affect your mind more and more. And it gets to the point where if someone hacked into the system, they could implant dream visuals into your subconscious or even your waking mind, which is a scary thought. Actually kind of reminds me of Ghost in the Shell a little bit. The series, not the movie, but like
funny you mentioned that because I was reading an article about this movie. Apparently, I didn't know about this at the time, but apparently when Inception came out 4 years later, a lot of people were saying that Nolan had a lot of inspiration from this movie.
Yeah, people have said that, and those people are wrong. So,
Are they?
No, they're wrong. He got it from Scrooge McDuck cartoon.
Oh.
There's literally a short from back in the day where I forget what they are. They're the bandits. Those 3 dogs who are like bandits. They were in DuckTales. They want to rob Scrooge, but they need to know the combination to his vault. And they see that he is sleeping, so they climb up into his dream bubble, and they try to find the combination to the safe inside his dream. And people have to go, and like I think like Daffy probably has to go in to stop them from doing that. So that's literally where the concept of Inception comes from.
Oh.
I will admit, both of these movies share a number of elements, but it's kind of like The Godfather versus Goodfellas. Both of them are mob movies. Both of them take place with people entering the mob and the things they have to do to get into it and come to power and all that sort of stuff and the kind of effects that it has on their lives and whatnot. But they are completely different movies. So that's at least how I go with that. The fact that it kind of deals with entering people's dreams is probably a concept that is not as widely used outside of stuff like The Matrix or some other stuff. So I can see how people are definitely starting to go like, oh yeah, that's definitely that thing. But when you like compare them plot-wise, character-wise, a whole bunch of other stuff like when you break it down into the individual elements, these are very different movies. Especially because the dreams become reality at a certain point and not in a metaphorical sense like it is in Inception. That's kind of where it kind of breaks down a little bit for me. The movie still works, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, are we saying that dreams are a plane beyond reality that is real but isn't real but can become real? Or is it the power of the collective unconscious? I'm not really sure, but the machine gets up enough dream data to eventually start to warp reality. Come up with your explanation how you will. I don't know how it happened. I feel like I've lost people. Have I lost people?
I mean, I guess it's one of those movies where you can interpret it as much as you can or however you see fit.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this movie just had a lot going on, and sometimes it's hard for my brain to just, like, focus.
Yeah, same.
There's a lot of, like, individual character dramas going on, but there's also, like, the larger plot of dreams becoming reality. When it first started happening, and this is the second or third time I've seen this movie, but, like, when it first started happening, I was kind of like, wait, we've already covered that you can, project dreams into a conscious mind. Is this all just, like, basically a shared hallucination? But then the city's actually getting destroyed, and I'm like, no, these have a physical form. That's a lot. And then it kind of goes end of Evangelion right at the end with the giant Shadow Man, chairman of the board, who wants to reshape the world in his image and turn us back into primordial soup or something. But then baby Paprika
Primordial soup.
grows up and
Sorry.
eats him. And then there's just a giant naked lady in the middle of a crater in Tokyo, and then she disappears and everything's back to normal. This is definitely a Satoshi Kon movie.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of weird going on. I kind of love it. Like, I think the plot is insane, but I think I love, like, a lot of the individual elements of this. Especially, like, the stuff with the detective. Like, you guys know I'm a film guy, so, like, his whole thing is a big... I enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, I really like his storyline, too.
Yeah. With the recurring dreams, his jumping in and out of different movies that I'm assuming influenced him in a number of ways. And it all has to do with, like, a friend who died that he didn't, like, finish his dream with. I guess is a spoiler, but like this has been around for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I think we're allowed to spoil things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm talking a lot. What did you guys think about a lot of this stuff?
I think one of the things I've always liked best about this movie was the themes about identity and how it is I don't remember, she's black-haired Paprika in real life.
Oh,
The
her
doctor.
name. Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah,
lady.
the doctor, like how she is in real life and how she feels she needs to be, and then how she is in the dream world. Like the duality of it, I find really interesting because it's kind of like the expectations that people have for you when you're like in different spaces in your life. Like you have to take on a different persona depending on like who you have to be at work and who you get to be when you're not at work. But then you can't, like, it's hard to like condense yourself into one person when you have to like occupy a lot of different positions in life. And I felt like I could kind of relate to that, and a lot of people can relate to feeling like they have to be different people depending on who they're around. Like you could even extend it to like family and different types of groups in your life, where it's like you have to put something on for them. And I felt like I really connected to that struggle when I was watching it.
I think they even kind of like cover like a little bit of, because they were talking about the internet as kind of like a dream in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you have to.
Kinda,
you can put anything on, but then it's like, who are you really?
Yeah, like you're completely unfettered, like
it's
you
like
are in reality.
You can be anyone, but then you lose something from being able to just put on and take off a persona. So I liked that. I also really like the art. I mean, it's gorgeous and all the crazy ideas that it has. It's like the parade. I always was really interested in that image of the parade towards the beginning. A lot of the other images just really strike me and stuck with me. I mean, this was a movie that, it's one of my favorite movies, if I'm going to be honest. And just a lot of it, is very unforgettable to me. Even just a lot of the little things. The part with the butterfly thing at the end where she was pinned down is very difficult to watch, but at the same time, it's something that stuck with me,
Yeah.
Like, just the images that Satoshi Kon comes up with in general, and particularly in this movie, I would say, are just very visceral and interesting to me.
Yeah, you took a guy who's very into, I think, the cerebral kind of art and sort of thing, and you said, well, now I can literally do anything. Logic has gone completely out the window. I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
What was your guys' favorite parts?
I don't know if I really had a favorite part per se. I just enjoyed the movie as a whole. I mean, it was one of those movies where I had to I usually don't like movies that kind of get too convoluted or make you think. Maybe because I'm a dumbass, but I didn't mind this one. There was a lot of neat shit on the screen, and there was some things that made me think. So I did appreciate that. It's not my favorite of his works, but I still enjoyed it.
Hmm. I think my favorite thing is like I'm more, again, going along with what Envy said. I was more looking at the visuals than I was really paying attention to like the story. I think like watching the parade go through is kind of like one of my favorite things, which
Yeah.
sounds kind of dumb, but it's really
No.
colorful
I really like
and
it.
cool.
It's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, because I think they said, like, at a certain point, it was a collection of, like, a bunch of different dreams, kind of all collapsing into each other a little bit. So it's kind of like, you gotta, like, wonder who are each of the individuals who contributed to this dream a little bit.
I think it has to be one of the most famous images from the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I would say that that's like the parade scene probably one of my favorite scenes, but
I mean, you
Yeah.
can say it. I don't care if we have shared thoughts.
yeah.
Share thoughts. Share your thoughts with me.
I mean, it's just cool to watch. I don't know. That's about as far as my thought process goes.
I think the parade's good. I think this has probably one of my favorite opening, like, credit sequences for an anime. I think I love, actually, everything about the opening of this movie fucking works for me. Like, everything from the very beginning in the circus, going through all the movies, waking up, realizing you got a lot more going on here than just craziness, and then you have that really fun opening credit sequence. Yeah, I think the whole first 10 minutes kind of might be my, like, yeah.
That part towards the climax where, like, he kind of saved the day, quote unquote, in that sort. I love that part.
That one too. I love
Like,
that.
it felt like such a, like, conclusion for his thing. Like,
I
it
will-
was cool.
I will also say, yeah, there is another similarity there, I guess, between Inception and Paprika, is that there's, like, part of the climaxes both involve personal catharsis about issues that the dreamer has had in the past. So there you go. There's a little bit more that's like, oh, you can say maybe he stole it, maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Okay, would you say that Black Swan took from Perfect Blue, though?
Aronofsky actually bought the rights to Perfect Blue
Okay,
to
so-
copy that bathtub scene directly. So yeah,
So
no,
he
it
definitely
absolutely
took from that.
is taken from that. We discussed that last week. I know you weren't
I wasn't
you weren't
here.
there, but yeah.
All right.
Did we discuss that I think that was last week, yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I do remember that.
So
Yeah.
but what movie ripped off Tokyo Godfathers?
That one's so good.
It is.
I don't
We're
know.
gonna have to watch it again
My
for Christmas
favorite.
at some point.
I don't think anything's ripped off it yet, though.
You know what? Of all the things to rip off, the most feel good of his movies,
Yeah, it definitely is.
I would do it.
I don't know. I think you need like the right cast for that.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing of, like, and I think this is part of the reason why I think I talked last week about, I forget, was it called The Dream Machine or something? The thing about the robots and, like, his unfinished film.
Yeah.
They've thrown around the idea multiple times about getting another director to finish it off, but at no point had they ever been like, no, to, like, no one's gonna fit.
Right. He just has
It's-
such a unique style.
Yeah, and it could end up being like, it's interesting. I also brought up AI last time, but it's kind of like that. It's like Kubrick worked on AI for a very long time, and it was kind of like supposed to be his vision, and then he died, and then Spielberg took it over and was trying to do Kubrick,
Yeah.
and it didn't quite work. And I know, like, there was, like, some collaborative stuff because they did go back and forth about it, because I think they were friends. But yeah, it's just one of those things of, like, when it's something that, like, when you have a filmmaker who's has a very distinct style and has a distinct way of telling a story, and then you try to get someone else who has their own way of doing it, it's not always going to mesh up well, and that might just be the issue, is that Satoshi Kon has a voice unto himself completely. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to pull it off like he will.
The only...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, I think the only way you could even feasibly pull it off is, like, you really need to immerse yourself in his work. Like, that might be the only way I think you could, like, maybe replicate the style that he had, but even then it wouldn't necessarily be close.
Yeah, it's like one of those things of, like, yeah, you could do that, and, like, I could go through, like, all of Spielberg's movies and then try to make one for myself, but in a lot of ways, I'd just be copying him. I wouldn't be, like, creating something. It's like, I don't mean to go to Inception again, but, like...
Yeah.
It's like you say don't think about elephants, you think about elephants, but you didn't come up with the idea to think about elephants. It's
look at the
else.
Godfather. His Francis Ford Coppola's daughter directed the third one, and obviously those two.
No, she didn't.
The third. And...
She was the daughter in the third one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He was still directing it. It's a whole thing. We can cover that at another time. That's a whole...
I thought she directed it too.
No. She went on to direct, like, Lost in Translation and some other movies like that. She's her own thing. I'll give her points for being a far better director than an actress. That's... Yeah. I mean, even Francis Ford Coppola, he kind of had a lot of duds. Yeah. He pretty much got The Godfather, the two Godfathers... Apocalypse Now, but then, like, after that, he really drops off.
Yeah.
But I think you scored enough points with Godfather 1, 2, and Apocalypse Now that you're, like, set for life.
I think when it comes to Satoshi Kon, with that final movie, I just kind of want to see them make, like, some kind of documentary about it or something, and just
take, they did.
The bits and... Oh, did they?
I think, yeah, they did. Again, you weren't there. We talked about it a little bit last time.
Okay, so they showed the bits and pieces
I
of the
think
movie?
it was a French documentary. It included some partially animated his storyboards from it. So we're going to have to take a look at that.
See, it's like, I would like to watch that, but I don't know about seeing it put together because it would feel weird.
It's going to be Thief and the Cobbler.
Right.
See, you get that. No one else got that last week.
Yeah, I didn't like the narration.
I miss when you're not on the podcast and I talk about, like, movies that I've seen and no one else has seen.
I've seen the movies too. But Thief and the Cobbler, I think I did see parts of the fixed one, the recall.
Oh, I have not seen that one. I need to see that.
I think maybe me and my sister found it somewhere, but then it was gone. I think we found it, like, for 5 minutes when we were teenagers or something. But I don't know if it exists anymore.
I'm sure if it existed on the internet, it's somewhere out there.
I think
Wayback
maybe
Machine.
Maybe the Wayback Machine. We'll see.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just thinking of the edition that was released, but...
I mean, here's the question. Did it have Matthew Broderick?
I know I saw the one with Matthew Broderick in full, but I don't remember if I saw bits and pieces of the one without him.
Because the cobbler was never supposed to speak.
Yeah, I know.
So.
And it's like, I swear, whenever they add narration where it's not supposed to be, it's always funky, like with Blade Runner. And it's like, I just wish they wouldn't do that.
Show of hands. Is Blade Runner on the list?
Have you guys seen it?
No.
I saw the right version.
Okay, all right.
You saw the good version. I'm glad you.
I saw the director's cut, like the full director's cut. They got rid of the stupid ending, like Ridley Scott's True Vision.
Well, I still haven't seen it, so it's on the list.
It's on the list. All right, I'm down to rewatch it at some point.
Gotta watch that.
Speaking of movies that we like, did anyone recognize the movies that the detective watched or really liked or had him in his dreams?
My brain hurts. I can't remember.
I feel like you guys should know Tarzan, if not watching it, at least by visuals. I think
I've seen Tarzan.
I didn't check. I want to say what was the circus might have been like The Greatest Show on Earth or something.
Probably
older movie, but the other two I'm a big fan of. The one where he's fighting the guy on the train is From Russia with Love, the second James Bond movie, which is I really feel is underrated. It's actually a really good, like, realistic spy thriller.
Okay.
It's a little slow. It's from the 60s, but I like that one a lot. And that does have a really good climax in that train scene. And the other one is Roman Holiday, which is like one of my favorite romantic comedies
It's
of
really
all time.
good.
It's so good. Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. And I fucking love Audrey Hepburn.
She's so good in
Oh my
everything
God.
she does. And she's gorgeous, just
Oh
to
my
top
God.
off.
Easy there, sailor.
What? She's, I'm allowed to have a crush on a woman from back in the 40s.
She's one of the
isn't
greatest
she
Hollywood
dead?
sex symbols, so.
Yeah, damn right.
Wait,
And
is
yes,
she
she's
still
been
alive,
dead for
or
many
is she...
years.
I was gonna say, I'm like, why do I remember her being dead?
She's dead,
Because I
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
having to like do a report on her or something for school.
Yeah, she is.
Sad.
Mm-hmm. Damn, though. All-time Hollywood crushes, though.
Oh,
She's good.
So we're talking about Hollywood people who are dead. Now I'm thinking of Betty White.
Oh.
Sad.
God, we need to go there today, huh?
Right before her 100th birthday, you guys.
I saw something
I know.
about she apparently lived through like 17 leap years at least, so technically she made it.
I mean, it was a joke that people were making, years ago. People were making the joke that she's older than sliced bread, but no, she was actually born before sliced bread became a concept.
Wow.
That was... Sliced bread was what, 33? 32?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. It's been around for less than a century, weirdly enough.
Yeah. Before you had to slice your own bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... By the way, Roman Holiday is without a doubt on the list, no matter what.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely know who they are, so I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What else? What else to talk about? Any thoughts on their ending with the Shadow Man? Or are we all lost at that point?
I remember
That's a little
watching
weird.
it for the first time in the theater that I saw it in, and everyone we were watching the movie with was just kind of like, well, that just happened.
Yeah, no, it's a very, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of comparing it a little bit to the end of Evangelion. It's sort of just like, okay, that happened. What am I doing with the rest of my day? I have no idea. I gotta sit with this now.
I mean, granted, it's no Devilman Crybaby ending, but it's still kind of
That's
like,
just depressing. I'm talking about like a trippy ending where I've like no idea what just happened. Am I happy? I don't know. I think I'm more happy with the ending of Paprika than I am with the end of Evangelion because I think fundamentally one is just depressing and one is a little more upbeat. But outside of that,
I think everybody hated the ending of Evangelion because of how confusing it was. That's why they made so many sequel movies and spin-offs and shit.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I thought it was like a bit of a more artistic ending.
I mean,
but I didn't hate it.
I've never
Hold up,
seen the
just to be
show. I just
clear.
know that a lot of people hated the ending.
when I say end of Evangelion, I mean the movie end of Evangelion.
Oh, okay. Gotcha,
The
gotcha.
Yeah.
TV series had a different ending, which was also trippy and bizarre, but I think ultimately ended in a good place, which they retconned in End of Evangelion, the movie, which is something I don't like about End of Evangelion, the movie.
Yeah, I kind of preferred the series one.
Weirdly enough.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know there was a movie that came out this year that wrapped up, or
Right.
2021 that wrapped up the story. I forget what it's called. It's got that weird title.
Yeah, I was really never interested in watching any of those.
I have not seen it yet. Has anyone seen Mulholland Drive?
I've seen Mulholland Drive.
Because it's so
That's
confusing.
the series end of Evangelion.
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies ever, but it's like, what just happened
It
in
is.
this movie?
It is really good. I kind of do like. Didn't we look that up? And it was like it was originally supposed to be a TV show. We kind of wish it was a TV show. Now we can get more info.
but kind of but nobody knows what it's really about. But it's a great movie. But maybe it's just me and Al who have seen it. I don't know.
It's David Lynch. It's gonna be
Yeah.
weird.
It's David Lynch.
Well,
I
no-
mean,
no
yeah.
wonder.
I mean, yeah. He's made a lot of weird things. Twin Peaks among those things.
Mhm.
Would you
Right.
consider Twin Peaks the most normal thing he's ever made?
Possibly?
No. I
You
mean,
know, it's like-
probably, but it's still pretty strange
Honestly,
by like detective standards and like
yeah.
stuff in that genre. To be fair,
I think it's because it's a TV show and it kind of has to have an overall arcing plot. It can't just be completely out there stuff. Well, actually, you know what? What about Blue Velvet? That one's not that
Haven't
trippy.
seen it.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a
super
little older.
trippy. Yeah.
Dennis Hopper, fucking crazy in that one.
He was Elephant Man. Was Lynch?
That was his
right?
first one. Elephant Man was also produced by Mel Brooks. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, Mel Brooks made so much money that at a certain point he's like, you know what? I'm gonna find some like film students who like have a lot of potential. I'm just gonna give them a shot. And like, yeah, so he finds David Lynch. He makes
made
Elephant
David
Man.
Lynch.
We owe David Lynch to Mel Brooks.
Merchandising. That's where the real money from the movie comes in.
Did he do that before or after? When was Elephant Man?
Oh, I know that's probably after. I'm just joking.
Well, I'm actually wondering
Elephant Man
because
was
like
probably
maybe
the 80s, right?
yeah, I think so. And I'm like, shit, I gotta look this up. When was Elephant Man and when was Spaceballs? Because yeah, Spaceballs merchandising might have paid for Elephant Man. If it did.
Well,
Spaceballs was
couldn't make any
86, right?
he couldn't make any. Spaceballs is 87.
87. Elephant Man. 1980. Okay, it was
And
pre-Spaceballs.
Mel
Okay.
Brooks actually couldn't make any money off of Spaceballs merchandise-wise. That's how he got permission from George Lucas to make the film. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm looking this up.
What are you trying to look up?
Trying to figure out which Mel Brooks movie paid for Elephant Man.
I mean, wouldn't it probably be like a combination of like
I think it was
Blazing
High
Saddles,
Anxiety.
Young Frankenstein, or
His most recent movie was in 1977, High Anxiety. The actual producer for Elephant Man was his assistant from High Anxiety. So I'm going to say High Anxiety gave us Elephant Man. I have that one too. It's actually pretty fun. It's his parody of Hitchcock, so which he actually showed Hitchcock. I think I know we're really off subject, but it's just kind of a funny story. I think he showed it to Hitchcock, and Hitchcock, after the movie was done, didn't say a word, just walked out. And he's like, "Oh my god, I insulted Alfred Hitchcock." He gets a phone call like a week later, and he just tells him, "You had the wrong number of rings on the shower curtain." That's my only note.
Wow.
yeah, Alfred Hitchcock was an out there guy too.
He had a crazy sense of humor.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most iconic scenes in film history, and it was chocolate syrup.
Yeah. We owe that to Hershey's.
Yep.
You know, weirdly enough, normally this would be off subject, but at the same time, Paprika kind of does bring up like filmmaking techniques in a lot of scenes. So this is kind of an appropriate thing of like how do you put together a shot, or how do you piece something together. Honestly, weirdly enough, I'm kind of interested to see what this guy's like student film that he shot on 8mm would have been. Like at first he was just like, it's just the whole movie is just one guy chasing another guy, and he had like a previous like friendship with him. I'm just like, is this Point Break? This feels like Point Break. But then he's like, and then it's flashbacks to the past together and how they diverging stuff. I'm like, you know what? This actually sounds kind of like interesting.
Sounds like a student film.
Okay, it does, but it sounds like a decent student film.
Yeah.
Like you and me have watched some student films and we're
Aw,
like, wow,
terrible.
you really overshot your concept here. But it seemed like it kind of just feels like something that I might see as like an early Christopher Nolan movie.
It seems like it was probably one of the better student films at the festival.
One of them got in. One of them
Yeah.
got into film school. So
But yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
one of those movies where it makes you think a little bit about filmmaking and just what's the trippiest movie you've ever seen.
what is the trippiest movie I've ever seen? This gets up there. Mulholland Drive gets up there. What else?
Melancholia.
I don't think I watched that one. Was that also Lynch, or that was someone else? Who
That
was
was
that?
Von Trier.
Oh yeah, he is depressing.
He is very depressing.
That's probably why I didn't watch it.
He can't
It's-
handle it.
Well, sometimes I like to, spend the rest of my day in a good mood, and I don't have a chance with that one. That sort of thing.
You don't want to be that French type of sad.
Yeah, I don't want to be French. I mean, that's too close to Canadian.
Listen.
Was he even French?
Listen to what? Are you French all of a sudden?
I'm French Canadian.
Oh my god, this is why we don't get along.
Sure.
Okay, Lars von Trier is Danish, but still, he still has that sensibility about him.
Okay, so he's like Scandinavian depressed. He's like Bergman.
He is like Bergman. Actually, that's a great comparison.
Honestly, I never found Bergman that depressing though. I've seen a bunch of his movies.
You don't find it?
Not as much. Like even like something that's like purely about death.
Was
like,
he the one with the chess game?
Seventh Seal?
With death?
Yeah.
That's a little depressing.
But death has a sense of humor in that movie as well.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
a little more ironic, I guess you could say. But it's like a bittersweet kind of...
Yeah, no,
he's not
I think
super depressing.
He's probably the happiest of the darkly depressing Scandinavians.
All right.
See, have we lost everybody? Like,
Sorry
where are we at right now?
I mean, I can't really think of the trippiest movie I've ever seen. I know trippy scenes I've seen in movies, but I can't really think of...
Trippiest movie I've ever seen... I don't usually watch a lot of, like, trippy stuff. I watch more horror stuff and not necessarily trippy stuff.
Oh my god, what was that movie you didn't like that I loved? The bourgeoisie one.
Oh, The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie.
That one's so trippy. I love it.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
What is that movie even about?
No one knows.
It's so good, though.
It's, yeah, no, it's kind of, well, I think I know why you like it. It's kind of got a bit of that Mulholland Drive thing of, like, the ending is not the ending and it just keeps continuing into a new ending that doesn't end.
I haven't seen it in forever, so maybe if I watched it now, I would have a completely different opinion, but...
Who knows? I feel like the trippiest stuff that I've seen is, like, probably some absurdist comedy, like Monty Python or something, but it's intentionally supposed to be, like,
I don't really count that as trippy,
a little bit.
It's
like,
just, like, parody.
I could say, and now for something completely different, but it's just a series of their sketches that are, like, sort of interconnected.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would have to say 2001.
Okay. All right. I'm feeling you there.
Because, I mean, it is a little bit weird, like, starting at the beginning, because, like, it's before the age of man, and apes are just starting to learn how to use tools they found out of bones, and then it skips all the way to people landing on the moon, and finding a weird black...
the monolith.
The monolith, yeah. And then it going again, and then we're on, like, the space station, and our Dave is talking with Hal, and Hal's going rogue, and, you know, it's just one of those things where it's, like, one thing's sort of leading into the other, and it's just kind of like, how do we end with a giant space baby?
It's like that meme of, like, the guy pushing the little dominoes into the big dominoes, so it's like... ape playing with bones as the little domino, and then rogue AI at the big domino.
Though, it's like that is
the big domino is being reborn as a star child.
The thing is that that movie is actually probably like one of my favorite movies. Is the thing though.
But what is it about?
I mean, I think it's about man evolving to the point that we are then able to make contact. Like first contact.
With what?
Aliens. Because it is a book series, and that's essentially what happens throughout the rest of the other 3 books, is contact.
So where does Star Baby come into it?
Star Baby, I think, is like what became of Dave and Dave's voice and Dave's consciousness. And I think how he talks to the other beings. If I remember correctly, I haven't read all of the second book.
So, to make contact with aliens, we must become space fetus.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm gonna stick on Earth.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm good. For however long this thing lasts still.
It's gonna last like maybe about a couple billion more years before the sun engulfs our planet and we die.
I won't be here for that.
I mean, that's
I'm not worried
usually
about that.
how they, like, will say that the sun is going to turn into, you know, a big red, and then
Yeah.
we're going to go supernova, and then it's going to collapse. But by the time it goes supernova, everything that's, like, in our little section of this, like, in our solar system is going to be gone
Mm-hmm.
because of the supernova. So we'll be long dead by then, but...
Yeah, well, looks like we got that Von Trier depression spot of the episode. I think we're covering pretty much
Yep.
all our bases on this one, which is pretty much
Uh-huh.
what Paprika did. They covered every single possible base.
Well, then I guess there's only one last question left to ask. Then,
Go for it.
how would you rank the works of Satoshi Kon, then, including Paranorma Agent, in your personal opinion?
Okay. For me, this is tough because I have different kind of like I think I'm gonna pop. Damn. All right. It's a bit of a toss-up for me, number one, for either Tokyo Godfathers or Paprika. It's going to depend on my mood at any particular point, because sometimes I'm feeling very trippy, and sometimes I'm feeling like, oh, let's get some heartwarming stuff. If it was Christmas time, I'd definitely say Tokyo Godfathers number one. But as it's not Christmas anymore, technically, and we're actually, is this Orthodox Christmas today?
What day is it?
It's the 6th. Or is it the 7th?
I believe it's the 7th.
Today?
Okay.
Today's the 6th.
No, I'm asking what Orthodox Christmas is.
Oh.
Like, this is how long we're allowed to keep up the Christmas
It's
tree.
the 7th.
Okay, so we got
Well,
one more
6th.
day. You know what? It's still technically Christmas season. Tokyo Godfathers number one, followed by Paprika. I think after that, I might put Perfect Blue, Paranoia Agent, and then Millennium Actress. And I'm only putting Millennium Actress low because someone has to be at the bottom. And I think it... Although it was ambitious, I think it's the least ambitious of all of them. I think all the rest of them really brought a whole lot extra to it.
Mine's pretty easy. Number one, Tokyo Godfathers. I give that a 9 out of 10. Number two is Paprika. Not Paprika. Number 2's Perfect Blue. I gave it an 8. Number 3's Paranoid. Number 3 is Paprika. I also gave that an 8. I like Perfect Blue more because, again, it's more of a straightforward type story than Paprika. Number 4 is Millennium Actress. I gave it a 7. And then last is Paranoia Agent. That's my least favorite. I gave it a 6.
I think I'd go Perfect Blue, Tokyo Godfathers, Paprika, and then I don't think I've seen all of Paranoia Agent, so I'm not going to count it yet, so Millennium Actress is at the bottom for me. Though it's still fantastic. It is really only at the bottom because something has to
this is
be.
one of those, like, James Dean only made 3
Yeah,
movies.
it's like
none of them are
something
bad,
has to
but
be at
one
the
of them
bottom.
has to be at the bottom.
Right. But I think all the movies are just fantastic that Satoshi Kon ever made, but Perfect Blue's my favorite.
I didn't really care for Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the movie that I didn't watch.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, like, content in there.
Yeah, I remember like looking up some warnings, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna have a fun time watching this.
Definitely his darkest movie.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to watch, but I just find it very fascinating.
Like, certain dark content I'm okay with. It's just when it gets into specific kinds of content, like I get kind of more hesitant.
That's fair.
Yeah,
to
no,
dip my
that's
toes
why
in.
that's why I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, I will abstain for giving scores because I technically haven't seen all of the movies, so I feel like it would be unfair for me to, like, grade the system, especially considering it's been so long for Paranoia Agent, and I don't think I actually did finish it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what filmmaker are we supposed to move on to next? Makoto Shinkai has not had
These are
a
really
ton
good.
of works yet. Might be a easy one to go to. But do we have any other thoughts on Paprika right now?
Doesn't sound that way.
Doesn't sound that way at all. So, next week, we were talking a little bit before about what to do for next week, because it's been a bit since we actually watched an anime series, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we were doing talks. It's not all complete yet, but half of it is out, I think, at this point. So, next week, we're going to talk about Demon Slayer, second season. The, what is it called?
Entertainment District arc.
Red Light District, here we come.
Yep.
It's a red light district. I don't actually know
Yeah,
what I'm
pretty
going to
much.
be in
Yes,
for,
it
so
is.
it's, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
All
so
of what it is.
see those episodes. What was it going to be? How many episodes was it?
It's 6 episodes. 'Cause
Six
the 6th
episodes.
episode comes out today.
Not so bad. 6 episodes, and yeah, then we'll watch that, talk about it next week. Then whenever it finishes, we'll talk about it again. And we'll come up with other stuff along the way for the rest of January and moving into the rest of this year. So come join us for that and whatever else comes down the pipeline. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!